Hey, I'm Heather Markel, intuitive business and peak lifestyle coach with Heather Begins. In this video in the full-time travel series, I wanted to talk to you about why you should full-time travel. So if you're someone that has kind of heard of these crazy people that travel the world like I do, or maybe you are one of the people that want to travel full-time, but you're kind of wondering why do people do this? I wanted to share with you a few reasons I do it, and that I think some of my fellow full-time travelers and nomads do it too, to hopefully inspire you to take the journey one day yourself. Reason number one that people tend to travel full-time is that they get to slow travel. So when you are in a full-time gig, you get vacation, you run around, you check off, basically you have a bucket list, and you pre-plan everything, you run through the city, you see everything, and also if you're not doing that, you kind of you have some downtime, and maybe you sleep all day, and it's basically when you're done with your vacation, you either are exhausted if you're in the first camp where you have run around and seen all of the big tourist stuff, and now you're just tired, you need a vacation from your vacation, or you've just finally found that sense of refresh, renewal, relaxation, and now you have to go back into work. So the thing is, when you full-time travel, you aren't a tourist anymore. You get to slow down. And in fact, I don't have a bucket list, and I don't see all of the tourist locations in a town. I kind of go where I feel called to go. I'll see some of them, and also it depends on how much things cost. But on average, I just enjoy the place I am. So the advantage of traveling full-time is that you become more like a local, and you see the places and do the things that tourists normally don't. And so the experience seems so much more special than if you're just there on vacation. A second reason to travel full-time is this amazing sense of presence to your life. So when you are in a full-time anything, your life is pretty much dominated by reminders. You've got to be on a call at this time, you have a deadline for this project, you have a meeting, you have a lunch, you got to take the car in, you got to have there's always just something going on. And so you kind of don't get to sit still. But when you travel full-time, you will find this radical sense of awareness to what's right in front of you. So these beautiful flowers and the Buddha statue, right? So, did you even notice them while I was talking? And what happens is, because oftentimes I found that before I was full-time traveling, I didn't even notice half the stuff right in front of my face. And there's something very powerful when the mind, you suddenly realize you're not actually distracted by the chatter in your mind about where you'd rather be, what you would rather be doing, who you'd rather be with, how you don't like this, how you do like that. It's just swing, oh my God, I'm just here. I'm looking at the sea. The sea is beautiful. That's it. And there's just an amazing sense of alertness and beauty in feeling that sense of presence. And even if it's not every moment of every day, to be able to just have that in your life is a powerful reason that you should travel full-time. A third reason that I so believe in full-time travel is that you will meet so many wonderful people from different cultures and different places. And it gives you the opportunity to learn so much about different ways that people live, and I spoke about this in a prior video, and it helps you, your perspectives on life will radically shift. What's right, what's wrong, the things that you didn't even know were happening in the world. Because oftentimes, our medias focus on our local news stories, and we're so insulated, we don't even know there's this big world out there, and it's not brought to our door all the time. So often you'll get a news story, a top news story will reach wherever you are. I'm from America, for example. There was just an earthquake here, and I was surprised it actually made the news in America, and that's because it was a pretty big one. But you know what? There are earthquakes here every day. I didn't know that. And there are other things happening here every day that I didn't know about until I got here. So that's the beauty of full-time travel, is learning how rich the world is with experiences you don't even know about when you stay in the same place. Another gift of full-time travel is learning to appreciate the go with the flow and manifesting. Now, I know this is perhaps woo-woo for some of you guys, and maybe you don't believe in it, and that's fine, but oh, hi kitty. There's a kitty. Funnily enough, I actually have been wanting to play with an animal, so there's manifesting in action. I think you should see this cat who's just shown up very nicely for my video. Thank you, cat. So what happens when you travel, and I think it's perhaps stemming from the gift of presence to your life, is that you start noticing that one day you kind of wish, oh, I hope that a kitty comes into my life. And within like a day, there's a cat that will show up. Or I remember being in Uruguay and I needed a safety pin and had no idea where to buy one. They didn't really have like office supply shops. And so I had this thought, and then the next day I met this lovely family. We went on a wine tasting, and after that we went into a playground. And when we were at the playground, I was just standing watching their little girl slide down the slide, and I looked down, and there on the ground was a safety pin. So this is the kind of stuff that happens arbitrarily, and I think actually it's always happening to us, except that when you full-time travel and you're much more present, you just have naturally more awareness of receiving what you ask for. A fifth reason why you should travel full-time is that you will hone in on your intuition. I also mentioned a little bit about intuition in prior videos, but there's just this powerful thing that happens when you are, again, very present in your life and you are very aware of what's going around. And that's the cat alert, I think. The birds have caught on that the cat is here. So sorry for the loud bird screeching. So there's intuition in action. So you will develop that tool, and I think some of us struggle with wanting to be more intuitive and not sure what we need to do and what exercises to practice, and it's just something that happens naturally in full-time travel. It's just this gift of really being aware of your own feelings, what things feel good, what things feel bad, and what those things are for you, because good and bad feelings in my body will be a very different sensation than they are in yours. So getting really familiar with that for yourself helps you really deepen that intuitive sense of your own. A sixth reason to travel full-time is that you will be able to see places that you would never have time for on vacation. So when you have a week or two, depending where you live, I lived in New York City, so going to the Southern Hemisphere, going to Africa, going to South America was a big deal because it's a huge flight. And even going to Europe, there's a lot of jet lag, right? So this is all a big deterrent to go places when you have a limited amount of time. Is like, how long will it take to get there? How long will I be sleepy? So when you are a full-time traveler, that goes out the window. And suddenly you can spend, months. I spent 6 months in South America. I got to Easter Island, which who goes to Easter Island when they live in New York City? Because you have to go down to Santiago, and then you have to get a flight from there. It's a whole big ordeal that in a week, sure, you can do it again if you're checking that off your bucket list, but to be able to go there for like a week and actually just experience it and get to know kind of what the local culture is, and not just run around and see all the moai, but actually like talk to people that live there. People live there, right? And learn what their life is like is really special, and something that you get to do again as a full-time traveler that you don't necessarily get to do when you are just taking a vacation, because again, those short vacations. Just either some places are just, there's too many flights and it's too far. I know some of you are listening and might think, oh yeah, well, I would fly. I actually met a guy in Iceland that randomly met him at an airport like a year after we met in Iceland, and he was on his way to China for the weekend from New York City. So, you know, I know that there are people that do that, and good on ya, but it's a very different experience than, say, being able to go to China for like a month or two. So that's the gift of full-time travel, is really is reaching some of the places that you might have been a barrier of time, distance, and travel when you were full-time employed. My seventh and final reason for this video of why you should travel full-time is it is an amazing way to find yourself. Now, I made a whole other video on this, which you should definitely listen to if this topic is of interest to you. But, you know, full-time travel is so much about like everything that goes into it, the way that you do it, the people that you meet, the experiences you have that deeply help you find yourself in ways that you typically don't when you are stuck at a desk job and doing the same old thing day after day after day. So those are my 7 tips for this video on why you should travel full-time. If you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Feel free to also check out my website at heatherbegins.com. I have tons of travel blogs about the many experiences that I've had during my full-time travel experience. And also come join us in my Facebook group called Full-Time Travelers and Nomads, and connect with like-minded people and get inspiration and information for your full-time travels. I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.